Hey guys. Now this is just getting crazy. One little thing, okay, a coincidence. That's what all your friends are going to tell you. It's a coincidence. Two things, no longer a coincidence. Three things, definitely not a coincidence. Four things, alright, you get the point. So, let's think about something old Lindsey Williams had said. I think the first time I heard him actually say this was in, I don't know if it was in 2008, but definitely early 2009 at one point, or maybe some point in 2009. And he said that his elitist friend, which at the time would have been Ken Fromm, had told him, Lindsey, we're going to tell the people everything we're going to do. They need to be watching Hollywood and the movies that come out because we will let them know what's going on. And he told Lindsey that. That's absurd when you think about it at face value. That's nuts. You're a conspiracy theorist. Shut your damn mouth. Stop emailing me this crap. That's the kind of response you would get. And that's understandable. I mean, really. So he said, you know, when Hurricane Katrina happened, 2 weeks, I believe it was 2 weeks before it happened, they come out with this little show. Well, it didn't make it into the movie theaters, I don't think. I think it just came on TV as a show, though, as a you know, like a special or whatever. One-time thing, and it was called Oil Storm. It was exactly what happened to New Orleans and whatnot from Hurricane Katrina. I mean, it was the same damn thing. I mean, it was incredible. Now, I still to this day haven't seen the whole movie, but I have seen clips. And Lindsey Williams, in one of his big DVD sets at one point, I didn't buy the last one, which was a while ago. I think it was the one before that. And in it, he put some stuff together. And a lot of scenes from that movie or show or whatever. And I was just sitting there like, damn, there's no way it could have fell out the same damn way. You know, I mean, just like unbelievable. And I saw the date it came out. I went and researched it real quick. Sure enough, happened before Katrina, Hurricane Katrina. So I was like, huh, interesting. Lindsey Williams had said to watch these things, and he used that as an example. Okay, I'll remember that, but I'm not buying that yet. I'm not going to be crazy here. And then all of a sudden, the movie The Knowing comes out. Again, it was a cool movie, right? Nicolas Cage, good actor, everything's cool. And then a few months later, just a few months after the movie, we have April 2010, oil rig on fire, Gulf of Mexico, breaking news. That was exactly what was in The Knowing. Gulf of Mexico and an oil rig on fire with a fake news, of course, because it's a movie, like CNN, you know, live. And you see these boats trying to put the fire out. And then you fast forward to the real news of April 2010 of that event, and it almost looked like they got it from the movie scene. I mean, it was that good. It was that close to being so accurate. So that's the second coincidence, right? Huh. Okay, maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe it was a coincidence, right? Maybe the writer of the movie is psychic and he doesn't know it, and it just came to him to put in the movie. You know, just a coincidence. Maybe. Okay. All right. Maybe. So that's interesting because that same scene has something else that a lot of us have found out today. That's very interesting. Again, a coincidence, sure. And then there's something else on top of that now with the show the series that's been on known as The Event. And ever since that came out, I haven't been watching it, but I've had an idea based off of this little commercials they show. I thought to myself, there's probably some information in here that Lindsey Williams kind of stuff may be in here. I should probably set these to record. But I don't like series and things of, you know, that I consider fake and stuff. I can't get into that stuff. But it may be something in there that I need to see to let me know what's going to happen in the future. So first, let's go ahead and do The Knowing real quick. And let's talk about both incidences, but starting with the Gulf of Mexico. I'm just going to flip this camera so you can see it, so I don't have to do a lot of video editing to upload this. Alright, so there's old Nicolas Cage, and you got to understand, he is a sheeple actor. You think he knows that these things are being implemented in his movie? Absolutely not. Not on your life. But anyways, let's watch this. Price of oil hits another record. That's what you just heard.
Triggered a fire which burned for 3 hours before it was extinguished. Officials don't yet know the exact cause of the explosion, but believe a malfunction in the cooling system may have been involved.
Now here's the real news.
And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Drew Griffin in for Rick Sanchez. Let's get right to the breaking news, which is not good. At the Gulf of Mexico, the oil rig that exploded. This incredible video. That oil rig has now sunk.
Are you kidding me? Are you serious that that was a coincidence somehow? Remember, for the people, the naysayers, right? That you guys are out of your mind. No human being would do this, etc. Right? There can't be a group of people that could pull this off. It's impossible. Then why did the CEO of BP at the time sell a huge, massive portion of his stocks, BP stocks, in his own company prior, and I mean like a week or two, etc., prior to the event of April 20th, 2010, of the oil rig, Gulf of Mexico, right, BP. And why did also, it came out that Halliburton, as the company, sold a bunch of its shares of BP stock as well. And that only happened like a couple weeks, I think, before, or a week before. And then, of course, Halliburton, before this happened, buys out a company that specializes in oil spill cleanup and that kind of thing, known as Boots and Coots. They bought it for like $500 million or something. I don't remember the price tag, but I think it was like $500 million, something like that. And of course, Halliburton's got plenty of money. They got it all in the fake war in Iraq from you and me. And Iraq was supposed to be paying us back with their oil wells, weren't they? No, you bozo, because they got the oil contract there too. And that, in 24, 48 hours later, Obama comes out and says, we're leaving Iraq now. It's official, but we're going to leave some troops to help, not in a military capacity. After the oil contracts were signed. Pay attention. So, don't let me get off another rant, off topic here. So I just showed you that. That's crazy. That can't happen. I mean, it can't. Right? So we have another thing that is very interesting, and you may have heard of it. And this has been going around today. And when I was at work today, I heard it there first. Checking my little sites in the morning. And it is something along the lines of the doomsday clock. The nuclear doomsday clock. Which is a real thing. And throughout history, and a lot of time, mainly through, I think, the Cold War era. With Russia, we're going to attack them. Cuba crisis, Cuban Missile Crisis, you name it. We've been very close to what they call midnight on the doomsday clock. And usually when it's, a quarter to midnight, or, you got several minutes or whatever, yeah, we're building tension, but it's okay. We're not like on the verge of pressing the nuke button and having global nuclear war. But when it gets to the 10, 11, right, 12, midnight, boom. And I'm talking about, 10 meaning 50 after, or 50, 10 till 5 till would be the 11. And then midnight, right? So we're one position before midnight. We're at 11:55, right? The hand's on 11. One more click, or we're in the last minute to midnight. 11:59. We're getting ready to push the buttons globally and wipe off the earth. That's what the doomsday clock was about. It's a real thing, by the way. You can look that up, and that's how they always determine what level are we out to destroying ourselves on this planet with nuclear war. And that was the term they came up with the doomsday clock, basically. And it actually was real. So, you'll notice on that scene I just showed you, the oil rig. But what happened before that? You see him, the camera zoom into the time. It's 11:59 p.m. at night, almost midnight. And that's all it says. It says 11:59. And on the bottom left corner it says p.m. And then it really fast flickers to midnight. The PM sign goes up to the top instead of down where it was. And I guess it changes to AM, whatever. And then in the bottom right corner, something interesting. It says Japan on the clock. Under the 00 for 12 o'clock, midnight, 12:00, Japan. What, you ever seen a clock that just had a country on it, on the bottom of it, next to the time? Japan? No, you haven't. And then you can make, now, Again, this is after the fact. When things happen after the fact, it's real easy to say, hey, that was there. That, oh, it makes sense. Like the Webbot. Okay, this is the ill winds event. Oh, my God. Right? Now they're going to slaughter cattle. Because why? I read you the report. They're going to slaughter cattle and crops if, big if this really is the ill winds event. And by all means, it looks like it is. So there's also an email I'm going to read you, or a message through YouTube. I got the guy's permission to read this to you, of a friend of his. No need to name names, it doesn't matter. Who has been in the nuclear industry his whole life. It was his profession. He actually had something to do with the 3 Mile Island or 7 Mile Island, whatever incident, in which he realized, hey, you guys are lying to people. The rads, or whatever the number of the level of radiation was, like 4,000, deadly, bad. And they were telling the area, oh no, it's around 10, it's around 7 to 10 or something ridiculous. It was at 4,000. The guy ends up like quitting or somehow leaving. Didn't want to be a part of that. Anyways, he knows what the hell he's talking about. He's an expert. He's not the expert you're going to see on Fox News or Glenn Beck's show, who all day today Glenn Beck's been acting like nothing big is it's no big deal. But I'm going to read you what he wrote him, basically. This guy knows what he's talking about, and it's a very interesting way he put it. And this is really makes me consider this absolutely positively is going to be the ill winds event. It has to be. And if I'm wrong, great. And if the Webbot's wrong, fantastic. Because as I've said before, if the Webbot is only 10, 15, 20% right out of all of what it's saying is coming to a planet and country near you, if only 10 or 15% is right, it's worse than terrible. If 50% right, well, you do the math. You can make the judgment on that. So let me go back to this video and show you the little hidden message of we're on a minute from midnight, nuclear midnight, right? Big time nuclear. This is going to be a huge kind of event. And then it says Japan. And I'm going to show you something else that's interesting too. I'm going to try to pause it because it's fast. Okay, 11:59. It's not zoomed in yet, so let's just wait for it to zoom in. Okay, see the PM. We back out here just a little bit. Alright, 11:59. PM's on the left, bottom left. There's nothing on the bottom right. There's nothing anywhere else, okay? Boom. AM is now at the top left. You can barely see the A, doesn't really matter. AM 12:00. Ooh, what's that? Japan. Oh, that's appropriate for this movie, considering it had nothing to do with Japan or anything else. And notice how quick it is. I mean, watch. I'm just gonna let it play for a second by itself. Watch how quick it just goes and flashes to your face. And if you couldn't pause the movie at the movie theater, which you couldn't, you wouldn't have even noticed that. So, watch how quick this goes. That's it. That's all you get, right? Coincidence? Yeah, coincidence. Everything's a coincidence. It was a coincidence that on 9/10/2001, the day before 9/11, that Donald Rumsfeld came out and said, we can't account for $2.3 trillion. And then the next day, the world forgot about that massive statement. $2.3 trillion in the year 2001. Today, that's nothing almost. But then, well, hey. And then all of a sudden, by chance, Osama hooked a brother up, in our government, of course, and flew the plane, allegedly plane, into the Pentagon at the precise location where the accounting department and computer systems were, which completely obliterated any records of where that money might have gone or where it went anywhere, and killed some people who were in charge of that area. By chance. Hey, Osama, appreciate that, But he's a terrorist. What am I talking about, right? Yeah. So that's a coincidence. It was a coincidence that he was able to get that plane to fly over there. It was also a coincidence that they were able to keep it a few feet off the ground and pull that off, right? Coincidence, coincidence, coincidence. Now we have real crazy conspiracy coincidences, which is, I mean, I'm trying to show you a movie, for God's sakes, that's telling you the future in a sense. This is absurd. People, average people, here, if they were to watch this right now, are going to say, what in the hell is wrong with this guy, Joe, Dr. Doom, whatever? This guy's out of his freaking mind. But if you take the emotion and the statistical mindset of, oh, let me analyze, it's very simple. Statistically speaking, you can't have these types of coincidences. And I can't say, well, how do they know that? Or I don't know. Maybe they have a way of looking into the future, and that's how they're telling us. Maybe they're able to make these things happen by themselves. These elitists, whatever. They've got so much control. I don't know. Which would also mean, did they actually make this earthquake happen in Japan? Or did they foresee it in the future with some kind of cool technology and realize we're just going to use that to our advantage anyways, but we might as well let the people know what's coming? I don't know, and I'm not even going to go there because I have no idea. All I know is I'm studying a coincidence after another coincidence after another coincidence after another coincidence after another coincidence, and it's beginning to be absurd that you could have that many coincidences, as far-fetched as these damn things are appearing to be. So the next thing is what someone sent me. Lindsay Williams, important. So I was like, okay, let me check this out. Lindsay Williams talks about clues in television and movies, which I explained, and we're a lot of us who follow him, we know that. So does this guy. Check this out from the new TV show, The Event, if you don't already know about it. I also sent a message to another guy. Okay. And it says and he's telling you where to fast forward to. At 14:20 to 16:30, in between there, it says they talk about the initial nuclear reference. At 22 minutes and 42 seconds, there's a Chernobyl reference. And he has it quoted. If the portal technology destroys the containment dome, as Sophia suggests, the fallout zone will cover large parts of San Diego, Los Angeles, and Orange counties, resulting in deaths, birth defects, cancers of all kinds. Cattle and crops will have to be destroyed, and the land useless for generations. And that's the end quote. The radiation map covers half of the U.S. Furthermore, episode 10 ended in November, as the alien race was preparing to launch something. A week ago Monday, the series picked back up and started airing episodes 11 and 12. Ironically, it was about an unidentified missile launch. He says you can watch it here, and it's www.hulu.com/the-event. So, I mean, as soon as I started reading this, I was like, oh my God, here we go. Another coincidence, right? And then he got to the part of, ringing my head, bells start going off. Webbot report, Webbot alert, Webbot alert. Cattle and crops, this is a quote out of the movie, out of the script. Cattle and crops will have to be destroyed and the land useless for generations. The last several freaking videos, minus the last one about super juice and doom juice, have been talking about that specific sentence and phrase and some things tied to it. And I mentioned, again, in probably the last 2 or 3 videos regarding the ill winds. If you want to hear what I had to say about that, you can just search YouTube for Realist News space ill winds, whatever, and you'll see a few that I'm probably talking about it. Maybe 2 or 3. And I've mentioned, I believe, in all 2 or 3 of those videos, that specific part, and I said, look, I think if this is the ill winds event, I know what happens next and where this is going to. And I read you parts of that, explained that I heard him say this on a radio show, I remembered it clearly, etc. And one of the things he talked about, and I emailed him, and Cliff replied back, and he goes, I think it was one of the earlier 2009 series of Webbot reports or Alta reports. I don't have those. I didn't have those. I had the very last Alta report and then some thereafter. But at the time, because I wasn't going to pay the expensive price for a Webbot report that it used to be, which was like $300 or something, I was like, well, I'm going to go to George Yours site every day, and if he has something important to say, he posts it there regarding the Webbot, and I'll go to Cliff High's website, even though I'm not buying anything, any reports, and see where he's going to do any interviews. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's another one. And I will set reminders on my calendar and Outlook to remind me, hey, tonight, Bozo, make sure you're in your computer room listening to this guy talk tonight. And I started hearing him talking about the Web Art Report and this and that and, a lot more details. And I've seen a few pages and things posted here and there online, so I was a little bit familiar with it. But I got heavy duty into it at the end of 2009. In all of 2010, I've got every single report. I got the last Alta report. I listened to pretty much all his online interviews for the most part. The very last one he did recently, I have not heard that one yet. And someone messaged me and said, hey, last one he talked about something happening in Australia where people flee out of some portion of Australia, and I think they head north there too or something like that. He's like, did you know about that? I was like, nah, I thought it was USA, 40-degree latitude heading north and into Canada. He goes, no, not that. I was on his latest show, I think he was talking about Australia. I was like, oh no, I haven't heard that because I haven't heard their interview yet. So, I mean, let's just recap. This is crazy. Oil storm comes out 2 weeks before Katrina. Pretty much identical to what happened. I mean, scary how close it was. Then we have Nicolas Cage in the movie The Knowing, which came out in 2009. I believe it was latter part of 2009. And it tells about a Gulf oil incident happening. Exactly as it happened on that movie. I mean, you could have took the fake news footage in the movie and played it live on CNN or Fox News when it really happened in April 20th of 2010, and you would never have known it. Because it looked identical practically. I mean, this is like mind-blowing. Okay, so there's another second coincidence. Now we have this thing with the Japan and the same movie. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to tell you about that I skipped in that movie. After Nicolas Cage, when it goes to the clock, and then he looks, and it's 12 o'clock, then he goes to the oil thing, and then it zooms out, and he has that piece of paper in his hand with all the numbers he's trying to decipher that are like leading him to these places to find out these events that are coming. It immediately zooms to 18, or excuse me, 81. And he says it out loud, 81. That's it. 81, from what I just found out, I haven't verified this too far, but I did go look real quick. If you make a phone call out of the country, you have to dial the country code, right? In America, we dial 1 and then whatever. That's the country code. In Japan, I believe it's 81. So there's the 1 minute before midnight nuclear problem, right? Midnight comes, you got a nuclear problem. Keyword Japan down at the clock. Second keyword, in case you're a bozo and you're not paying attention, 81, the country code to dial Japan, right? But again, none of us could have guessed that in a million years. So we were all bozos until right now. Okay, so now that's the next event. Now we've got a TV series that when I first saw the commercials, I recognized that I should probably pay attention to this. And I haven't been. I've got a lot going on right now. But regardless, I probably should have been. Other people are finding these things and sending them to me, so I appreciate that. And now we've got this. In 22 minutes and 42. Matter of fact, if I can watch it this fast, why not just pull it up real quick? So we can watch it together. I'm going to go get some Kool-Aid, right? I'm going to go get some Super Juice. Doom Juice. And we can watch this together. I got my Super Juice, Doom Juice. I'm ready to watch the event, the part where he talks about Chernobyl that I read you, that is of extreme importance to me because it was in the Web Art Report about the crops being slaughtered, the cattle being slaughtered. Oh my God. By the way, this is the event, the last episode, which is, or the latest episode, episode 13, at approximately 21:46 into the movie. 22 minutes, 46 seconds it starts. But first, it just don't get any better. Man. You almost don't even want to swallow it. Just leave it on your tongue. Man, that's good stuff. I'm telling you right now. Back on key. Back on track. Now, here's the part. I don't know if you can see that through this camera or not, but that little area is Chernobyl. Little doomsday map here. So let's listen to what they have to say.
Noble data. If Thomas's portaling technology destroys the containment dome, as Sophia suggests, the fallout zone would cover large parts of San Diego, Los Angeles, and Orange counties, resulting in deaths, birth defects, cancers of all kinds. Cattle and crops would have to be destroyed, the land useless for generations.
We have a scenario to move the rods covertly, yes?
Yes, sir. The rods will be transported in a cask used to carry waste to other facility.
To where?
We have a research lab at Camp Pendleton with an ion engine that can generate a strong magnetic field, sir, so that even if their location is discovered, they'd be protected from Thomas's technology.
We could leave the rods in place, install a tracking device on them, and use that to find Thomas once he moves the rods, or trace the radioactivity itself.
Sir, that would mean allowing a nuclear meltdown to take place. In order to capture this man, millions of people would be affected.
And what will the consequences be if Thomas succeeds in bringing his people here?
Alright. Doom is back on. Trust me. Doom canceled? No. It was a temporary glitch in the Matrix. Doom is back on. Man, I gotta tell you. The part where he even says, okay, they're talking about Chernobyl. You know, the fallout zone would cover large parts of San Diego, Los Angeles, and Orange counties, resulting in deaths, birth defects, cancers of all kind. Yeah, it's like, it kind of makes your hair stand up a little bit on your skin. Okay. But again, yeah, coincidence. Just a movie. Just a little show. Nothing to get all crazy about. And then, cattle and crops would have to be destroyed and the land useless for generations. The radiation map covers half the U.S. Now, if you didn't know about the Webbot report, it'd be a lot easier for me or whoever else that knows about the Webbot report to say, you know, coincidence, another coincidence, third coincidence, fourth. It's just a coincidence, you know. You got lucky, whatever this thing is. It's just, you know, I'm not buying it. This is too crazy. This is too nutty. There's no way I'm buying this. But then that damn part about cattle and crops, I have mentioned that to you guys in at least the last 3 videos, probably 2 to 3 videos. I went into detail on that. And one thing I don't know if I mentioned that I think I actually forgot to mention in those videos, it's not that important, but it ties in with slaughtering of cattle. On one of the radio shows Cliff did, again, Cliff is the owner of the Webbot, he had said, when talking about the time that cattle and crops have to get destroyed due to the radiation contamination to them so we don't eat them, that there was language in their report that the powers that be are going to make sure they slaughter a lot of cattle and crops. Matter of fact, a little more than they need to that aren't even affected, just to have a little culling of the population, if you will, potentially. That's a bonus. That's a bonus to you guys and me from the powers that be. But the part that I missed telling you was that there was a nice little keyword phrase that comes of this mess, and it was in regards to human beings in our eating habits, because he was saying, oh yeah, you know, everyone's overweight, you've got, you know, 1/3 of the U.S. population, whatever, getting fatter and are becoming actually obese, technically obese on the charts. You know, it's just disturbing. And he says, well, you're not going to have to worry about that too much longer. Well, why not? Because after these ill winds and the slaughtering of cattle and crops, etc., take place, if you don't have meat to eat and crops that they're going to destroy, there's going to be ways to get some food back from other areas too, but it's mostly going to be crops. And you are going to be, I don't remember the exact phrase, so bear with me, but it was something like forced vegan vegetarians, or veganism, forced vegetarian, something along those lines. And I'm like, why vegan vegetarian? Like, why not just vegetarian? And I thought, well, cattle, like a cow, milk, cheese, right, all those things, vegans don't eat that stuff. Even though it's not meat, they don't mess with that stuff. I don't think they won't eat eggs from a chicken, nothing. I'm pretty sure that's what a vegan is. They're strictly, you know, like a rabbit. Give me some lettuce, tomatoes, pure crops out of the ground. That's it. Which is a very, very, very healthy diet. But man, I I don't want to be a forced vegan, vegetarian, man. I want to go, if they were open right now, I want to go to West Shore Pizza and go get a Philly. I mean, I would like to, super juice with the Doom ingredients in there, man. Reminds me of that Willy Wonka song, right? The Candyman. Who can make the sun shine, hide away the rain, right? Who can make the doom come? Dr. Doom can, 'cause he mixes it with super juice and makes the world go round. Alright, anyways, sorry for killing you with my terrible voice and my terrible sinus making it worse. Try to throw in a little comedy every now and then, because this is some serious stuff. And to keep from going insane, you need to, zoom out a little bit, throw people off, little comedy, that kind of thing, just for a minute. Maybe take their face from doing this, like, oh crap, oh my god, Dr. Doom, you're killing me, to maybe like a little little chuckle, a little smile, and then back to, oh crap, what were you saying again? It's the best I can do. So, I can't believe we're in 2011. We have practically 2 years till 2012, December 21st, 2012. I mean, 1 year and 9 months, whatever. And we're already seeing the things we're seeing. The other thing that I also mentioned, I'm pretty sure, was that this is filling language in the Webot report. If this is the Ill Winds event, which I'm pretty confident going to say it is, that we should be expecting another large earthquake, potentially on American soil, most likely California, within days, as the report said, to possibly just a few weeks. Not much longer after that. It should happen. The interesting thing, of course, which has been floating around the internet, is that on the 18th and 19th, mainly the 19th, I guess, in other words, just a few days, we're at the 16th, 17th, it was 18th, 19th, so we're talking roughly 3 days from right now. We are having a super moon, if you will, full moon. It is the closest to Earth it has ever been in like at least 18 years or something like that. Conditions are ripe for an earthquake to form from that. Not to mention, Saturn and Jupiter, from what I understand, are going to be in a position that will only cause that to have a greater effect, pulling on the Earth, I believe. I read something else somewhere else that had mentioned that. There's a guy out of California, and I will tell you his name in just a second. Should I pull this up? Jim Birkeland, B-E-R-K-L-A-N-D. Jim Birkeland, Quake series and March 19 moon. Search for that on YouTube. Jim Birkeland, Quake series and March 19 moon. This guy is known because on the 1989 World Series, he forecasted a doomy earthquake because of the similar conditions we are having right now, or on the 19th when the moon goes into play. It'll be just like that. So he has come out and said recently, he was actually on Fox News, I think with not Hannity, and he said, get ready. He said, here's why I'm telling you. Off the coast of Japan, they had a bunch of dead fish all of a sudden, and then the big one struck just recently. Precursor was dead fish. We just had dead fish recently again too in California. A massive amount of those fish were at the shoreline. That's one of his telltale signs when he realizes, okay, that's happened first. We have a supermoon, as they call it, coming up in a week or whatever. Okay, crap. We've got some rumbling going on. The other telltale sign, what he said he did, and I remember this from an older video he did, he says that he'll look in like the flyer or newspapers under the animal, like the runaway animals. I lost my animal, lost and found part of the newspapers and the little flyers in that area, or throughout California. And he'll see, because he's come to know what is average for like a week or a month of people. I lost my pet ran away. There's half a dozen people, or whatever the number is, I don't remember. And then all of a sudden, it just skyrockets. pages, couple pages, 2-3 pages full of, I lost my pet ran away, can't find it, it looks like this, and it's just filled with people. All of a sudden, as if, you know, someone came and stole up a bunch of people's pets, which it didn't happen. The pets ran away because they sensed something was coming. That is one of his telltale signs also, which after watching the video of this interview, he starts to say that, and then the idiot from Fox News cuts in and, you know, says something, as they always do, cut you right off in the middle of something important, which I don't think he did this on purpose, because he didn't know what he was going to say, but he was just getting to the point where he was going to say, oh, that's another thing that just happened too, because he said, oh, the fish kill, and then the animals run away, and then he cuts them off, and they ask him something, and then he kind of skips that and goes into what he was asked. And I know, you can tell that's what he was going to say next. The animal thing is happening now. So, animals are running away, they sent something, they're gone. Your own pet, yeah, I love you guys, but you humans are a bunch of bozos. I'm out. Open that window and I'm gone. Open that sliding glass door and I'm out. And that's what happens. And oh, Sparky ran away. Why'd Sparky run away? Because he knows an earthquake's coming. Sparky is smart. So this guy has now come out. Guys, all I'm saying is prepare. It's going to probably be a big one. It should be on or about the 19th of March, maybe a few days after that, which is another interesting thing because it ties in with what I just told you about the webbot. This other earthquake, the tsunami, the radiation, the winds, all this, filling data left and right, fill. Oh my God, I think we're onto something. This isn't good. And by the way, the thing that I think we're onto that isn't good, there's something else that happens right after that, sometime in the next days after that, possibly 2 to 3 weeks out, roughly in that time frame, a bigger earthquake or a earthquake of magnitude that will cause severe damage at any rate. That's in the webbot report. Now we've got the expert guy saying the same thing, essentially, using his way of doing it. The moon, the dead fish, the animals running away. Okay, I'm making a prediction. I got to get on TV. And the nice thing about the guy on Fox News actually says, basically tells people, don't laugh at the guy. He's got a track record. Like, when he talks, we want to know what he has to say. And, he actually does them right. So that's good. Now, there's one thing that I remembered about this guy, and it goes back to his original story, I think, from the 1989 earthquake. He was worked for the city or county in some aspect, even though he's like some kind of physicist or something. I forget what his title is. But he would look at these things and say, hey, I think I'm going to forecast a quake. And he would forecast these. He starts putting out this forecast, and the city's like, hey, whoa, you work for us. Be careful. You're causing people to get scared. You're causing, alarm. We've got a World Series coming up, man. You're going to have to stop, or else we're going to have, you're going to have to find another job. He basically said, I'm not going to stop because I'm very confident about this. I'm going to have to do this. So I don't know if they fired him or he decided I'm gone because I'm going to keep talking about this. And sure enough, it happened. And he was a little upset because, hey, I was trying to warn people. I got a piece of crap city or county, whatever, on my butt about this, telling me I'm putting fear into people. And I'm just trying to protect people, and help people, which, I don't know if anyone listened to him because they threw him out, get out of here, basically. And he nailed it. That was a devastating earthquake, by the way. I mean, that was terrible. So he's now out there. This guy isn't one of those guys that comes out every time there's a little special alignment and says, oh, hey, I think there's an earthquake. I have followed him a few years ago where there'd be little alignments and he would just give like a small probability of, yeah, maybe, But when he comes out on the TV and says, guys, I'm here, I need to say something, that's the time where the probability is so high, he recognizes I've got to say something. Does that mean that this is going to happen with 100% certainty? No. It may not happen. And that would be fantastic because, as I said, if only 10 or 15 or 20% of the webbot is right, it's worse than terrible. But it sure as hell is better than 50, 60, 75% of the webbot being right. Unfortunately, the things that we think the webbot missed because the timing was off and are now, many of them, coming up right in our faces, kind of lets you know that the webbot isn't nearly as inaccurate as a lot of people thought, except for the time aspect or the timing aspect. Which is kind of important because if you're expecting something to happen this year, well, for God's sakes, it didn't happen. I was all emotional and everything and nothing happened, only to find out it happened next year. For me, that's fine. You gave me a warning, basically. And a decent window of time warning is fine with me, so I'm prepared, that whole thing. So anyways, I know I covered a few different things. These are all very important. As usual, this video is probably, 2 days long. But I got my Doom juice. I'm wired. I'm ready to go running right now. It's 11:30 at night. I'm ready to roll. Got my super juice up in me. So, anyways, that's it, guys. Take care. If any of you bastards are on the West Coast, I don't care if you're in Oregon or whatever, south of California, you're starting to get into Mexico, Tijuana, wherever. Man, you guys better have something going on. My wife, she said, send me that video of this guy, Jim Birkeland. I'm going to post it on my Facebook and tell my family and friends, because I do know quite a bit of people in California. Thank God this guy, Jim Birkeland, is the one video she gets to send him. She's certainly going to send me on there. They're going to, when he posts, I'm not even going to, I just go over it. I go to the next one. I've had people say that. When your husband posts, I don't even read it. I go right to the next guy. Right to the next, wall. I gotta get my fill of good feeling, fake news, fake sayings and stuff to cheer me up for the day to go tackle the world, only to find out that everything's collapsing around me. But I'm gonna pretend that it's not. Pick up my little self and smile, and just keep doing what I do. It'll get better. It always does. Oh yeah, it will. You're right. It will get better. But the interim period that we have now entered for sure, and it will only get worse until we pass basically the beginning of 2013, end of 2012, and past that. That's just the climax point, as far as I'm concerned. So whatever happens in 2011 and through 2012, and that stuff gets worse, and then we're at the climax, and maybe some big event happens, and all kinds of stuff happens on December 21st or about that date, whatever. Don't think for 1 second, oh, thank God, a week later we're in 2013. Thank God we passed 2012. That doomsday mind counter stuff was actually right. Those of us around, man, this is great. Because there's no way it's just gonna pop off and that's done. It's gonna climax and then slowly probably go away. Because this isn't like you're lighting a firecracker and it booms and that's it. This is like you have a wick. You light the wick, the firecracker booms, and then there's another wick that keeps going off, right? So it's like, peak, just like a wave cycle. Up, doomy, climax, some doom, little less doom, little bit less, more doom. Okay, now we're picking up the pieces. Now we've got society 3 years from now, 4 years from now, what's left of it, and we can continue. I cannot urge you guys enough to get to Costco, get that damn food storage. For $999, it's a year supply for one adult human, whatever. And for a family of 4, that's 3 to 4 months for you guys. The other thing is, it's Thrive that makes it. Thrive is the brand or whatever. My wife went to, of all people, I know I told you about my sister, the sheeple of all sheeple. She had a friend at her church, I guess. They're Mormon, and the Mormon church lately has been screaming to people to get their food storage together, which is actually good. I appreciate that. And so they went to like a little, you have a little Tupperware party. This was a freeze-dried, dehydrated food party where they actually sampled the same stuff we just got from Costco, the Thrive brand. So she says, well, I want to go there so I can at least taste it rather than open our own stuff and then waste a can or whatever. She said, let me tell you something. Some of the stuff I ate was absolutely phenomenally good. I forgot one of the things she ate. She goes, that was the best I might have ever had. Like, it was the best tasting whatever it was I've ever had. And it was freeze-dried or dehydrated. You have to add the water, reconstitute it, cook it, whatever. She's like, I was very impressed. Which is interesting because on the Costco reviews, it had like 4 stars or something, I think. A lot of people said, hey, this is like way better than I thought it would be. So that's good. But the thing is, the Thrive brand has a thing where you can log on to their website and say, okay, I have a $80 a month budget or $60 a month budget, and you can actually log in and they know you're paying $60 every month, whatever, and you can kind of figure out, well, that man, if I could afford $5 more that month, I could get something else shipped. You can kind of play with it to make it fit your needs, but you can actually go out and say, okay, I want to get more freeze-dried fruit next month, so I want 2 boxes of freeze-dried fruit next month. You can go to the next month after that, 2 months out, and say, okay, I'm going to set mine up to do some more corn and potato flakes. Okay, and then the 3rd month out, I'm going to do this and this and this. And then you can just walk away. It's programmed into the computer $60. I guess it debits your card. I'm not sure. My wife set it up. $60, boom, we're shipping you your box. Next month, $60, boom, shipping your box. So they can actually do this for you. You can have a nice little thing set out. The problem is, if you don't have anything, and you're going to say, well, I got $60 a month, so you're going to get your first box next month, or end of this month, whatever, and then you get one box or whatever you can afford. What happens if this big, for example, this big event that might be coming in California, or somewhere anyways, that's going to be devastating if all the experts and the web bot got this right, and then people say, oh my god, I'm not dealing with this anymore, we're going to have to store some food, and then a couple of sheep turn into 10 sheep, 100 sheep, 1,000 sheep, 10,000 sheep, 1 million sheep, whatever, 100,000 sheep. We need to get a food storage. Oh, Thrive makes some good stuff. Do you think there's going to be enough for you to keep getting shipped? No, because you're going to place your order, and it's not locked in 3 months out. So, as far as I know, someone comes in, give me the $3,000 order. You know, I want a year supply for my family of 4. Give me the $3,000 order. Oh, are they going to not do that because they got little $60 a month you or whoever doing their thing? Oh, no, we got to stock this stuff for, you know, a year out so this one person can buy it over a year time. No. You got $3,000, boom, 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 done. Ship it. They'll be cleaned out in no time. Same with silver. When the shortage comes, if you ain't holding physical silver, you're done. And all these big guys, you know they're going to clean out the COMEX and these warehouses that have what little they do have. They'll be the first to get theirs, and then everyone else is going to say, oh, well, default happened, you know, whatever. JP Morgan just filed for bankruptcy, so what are you going to do about it? You gonna get your silver from them? They're the ones who got theirs and gave it to other buddies. Then they filed bankruptcy. Then what? Yeah, but it's guaranteed it's guaranteed in the contract as long as that business is in business, like all things. When they file bankruptcy, if the COMEX was to file bankruptcy, or some middleman between there, or the warehouses, or somebody, silver's gone, file bankruptcy. Oh, we had an office fire. All the silver got melted. Or we got broken into last night. Someone cleaned us out of, you know, 1 million ounces of silver. And, you know, we have to do a police report on that, so we can't get silver right now anyway, so we're just going to file for bankruptcy. If you don't have silver in your possession, you have nothing. Your little paper contracts, best case scenario is that you get your money back plus the spot price of silver that day and make a little profit in paper money. Even though you would like to have held on to it longer and made a ton more, you can't. You're forced to close out because it collapsed. Another scenario would be you just get your money back. You don't even get the spot price. Worst case, you get your money back and that's it. And in the worst case, you don't get nothing back. They filed for bankruptcy. Your money's gone. Have a nice day. And you're one of the people that was listed in the Webbot report as burning bankers and their family out of their houses. And then when they run outside to try to escape the burning fires, you guys throw them back inside. Out of the Webbot report. So I do look forward to seeing that. But make sure that's not you. Get your damn silver. Get your damn food supply and quit playing games. You got a credit card? I don't care what the percentage interest rate is right now. You better do something with it, and you better do it quick. So, that's all I got to say. I will talk to you guys later. Have a nice day or night.